Hi, I'm John,
And I'm Eric.
and we are proud affiliates of the You Run Podcast Network.
Head on over to yourunpodcast.com to check out all of our content, all of our affiliates' content, and so much more.
See y'all there. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another riveting edition of Under the Floorboards, where we laugh at the creatures that go bump in the night. I am your host, John, joined as always by my beautiful co-host, Eric. How are you doing this week?
Fabulous.
Absolutely, because we got to watch an absolute fucking banger this week that I had the privilege of introducing Eric to a little number from 2021 known as The Boy Behind the Door. And I'll talk about my first impressions about this in a second, but Eric, I'm really excited to hear yours.
Yeah, man. This is very much, and the one that comes to mind, it's not the same movie, but it's the same style of storytelling. Did you ever see Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, I didn't.
So it involves the same thing of like child kidnapping, that kind of shit, but it's told more from the parents' perspective and how they like investigate and figure out what happened and everything.
So pull your mic up.
So the
because the cup's coming off, so I think it's
okay. So is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot
Okay.
better.
So this is a tension building masterclass. This is an ambience masterclass. And it does that thing that I love in horror. If you're not going to be dealing with supernatural shit, you better make it fucking realistic. You better make it believable. This is a real world scenario that happens every single day around the world, in this country, probably in the state that you're in. And that's what makes it good, because it's really easy to jump right into this world and know exactly what's going down without having to gain any context from the story or dialogue, because there's hardly any dialogue in this movie. It just expects you to understand the narrative through showing and not telling. And it's really effective. Actors are great. The kid actors in this are fantastic. Everybody did a good job, but the two kids that played in this movie, unbelievable.
100%. And I think this was a film that I watched probably, it was sometime last year around my surgery time, where I was just like, what's on Shudder? And I saw it was The Boy Behind the Door. It's a great poster. You guys can see that on the screen. But it was so captivating and so terrifying from like the first scene.
Give me your actual line from Drake and Josh.
But I just remember watching this and like thinking to myself, I have never cheered for friendship more in my entire life. And I put that against Fox and the Hound, Road to El Dorado, fucking
Frodo and Sam.
Frodo and Sam. Well, I never put that in the ring anyways. I respect the game. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I had never cheered for people in the same way that I cheered for these kids in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's
the payoffs are unreal.
The payoffs are so unreal. And I talk about this on the show all the time. And like, it really is that gravity to storytelling, because the storytelling is impeccable and the gravity is so fucking high. Like the stakes are absolutely bonkers in this.
And the movie drops you off right into what's going on. I mean, like you get like the title card and then it's like, and we're here. And the intensity is cranked up to a 10.
So before we get into the tale of the boy behind the door, I do want to say characters, Lonnie Chavis playing Bobby, Ezra Dewey as Kevin, Kristen Bauer as the kidnapper, Micah Hauptman as Creep.
That he was.
That he was.
That's what we call him.
Scott Michael Foster as Officer 1, Rich Cirillo Coe as Officer 2, and Anna B. Schaefer as Officer 3. So it's a very small cast. Also written and directed co-written, co-directed by both David Charbonnier and Justin Douglas Powell. And I was telling Eric earlier, they have another movie on Shudder that is more recent that I'm like really excited to check out, and it's predicated solely on how fucking good this movie is.
Yeah.
Um, and by the way, guys, trigger warning at the end of the episode. I'll tell you right now, like nothing gross happens to these kids,
Hmm.
thankfully. Um, but the tension in this movie is, like we said, very fucking high. So if you're gonna be uncomfortable, I don't know why you're still listening.
Yeah.
But last chance. So you're talking about like the opening of this, right?
Yeah, you're thrown right into the world. There's a car that's moving up a very long road, so already you're getting themes of like how separated this place that this car is driving to is from society or like some form of like communal civilization. It's very remote out here. There's an oil rig, so I guess they're somewhere in the Midwest, Texas area, that kind of shit. So you know how desolate anybody that's ever that's ever been in that part of the country.
It's
No,
amazing
gets
how
out there.
quiet that scene was too. Because I don't
Yeah,
know if you ever heard an oil rig before, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
literally just iron on iron.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah. I heard my parents have sex once, and I didn't. um,
the bed was also iron,
yeah, yeah.
or the bed frame.
I just remember there being an.
They're just sleeping on a slab of iron.
um, there's a Dark Souls 2 joke in there somewhere. Yeah, it arrives at its destination and the driver gets out and you already know I mean, you can hear like faint screaming coming from the trunk and the driver opens up the trunk and it's two I think they're meant to be like 11 or 12-year-old boys. So like
Hmm.
fifth grade at maximum, right?
Hmm.
And it's just like, oh, this is going to be one of those movies.
Yeah, I mean they've got the cortical tying, the fucking duct tape,
Mhm.
every and the again, just to like speak to the caliber of these kids acting, like it rips your soul apart.
Yeah.
Just as soon like watching, because essentially you watch, and I'll be referring to their character names because that's easier for me. But Kevin gets pulled out of the trunk, and Bobby is just like taped and crying and freaking out. And
Oh,
I'm
they're
just,
scared shitless.
yeah.
It's harrowing.
And that's the thing is like we do get that like one, and I we talked about this a lot, so I'm trying to like not uh talk over myself too quickly, but both of these boys are excellent. Both of these boys are badass. And in the beginning, like we're really following Bobby,
Hmm.
and Bobby showed up to work with his wallet that said bad motherfucker on it today. And Jesus fucking Christ, like one of the best written characters I've seen in so long.
I want to talk about do we want to talk about the like flashback scene that kind of like establishes the fact that they're like really close
Sure,
friends
if
or
you,
whatever
yeah.
from 6 hours ago. I'm just going to quickly go over it because it kind of like establishes the context of what we're dealing with. These are two best friends, and it's that like and it's that level of friendship that you like you remember your childhood best friend. You remember the way that your back felt against like sunny grass and listening to like loons up in the sky and on the lake and everything and bugs and life is so simple.
Balloons is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. The like that distant like I always think about the opening of Pocahontas where you just hear the
That was my childhood too. I also imagine it as the opening of Pocahontas. So
so that one was for you, baby. But you remember what childhood friendship, it was much more simple. It came with a lot of the same emotions, but more of like a naivety and like a juvenile, like you just assume it's Todd and Copper. and we're always going to be friends forever,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, we're always going to be friends forever. And I'm not alluding to anything by saying that, but you just remember the simplicity of life, the way that time didn't seem to move, the way that every conversation you had felt like it was the most important day of your life, and everything like that. Everything was much more amplified because they're at an age where you're starting to discover yourself and your autonomy and who you are as a person, and those relationships that you build with other kids when you're kids are super important to development and everything. So let's get back into the movie, because one of the tropes in horror that I think doesn't get explored enough, except by like the final girl, is the willingness to force yourself in. Okay.
Mhm.
You have to have that driving, that this is my why. I am going to go engage in a fist fight with fear itself. Right.
100%. And it's interesting you say that, because the last thing I do want to comment on you bringing up the flashback is an important part of that too. Is like, I think that's a pinnacle point in a lot of kids' lives where they start truly believing in something, and when they say something, they like really believe it to be true,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very important
Mm-hmm.
for how this movie plays out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because are we going to make it to California?
Right.
And
We're gonna move somewhere where sun shines every day. And he says something to the effect of like, "You're not gonna leave me, are you? You're not gonna like go without me, right? And things like that." And so
oh,
just like,
chills. I'm
I'm gonna,
still getting
I'm
chills.
probably gonna cry at some point during this, because there's like, yeah. Anyway, it's just it. Let's do it. Let's fucking get into it,
Yeah,
because
100%.
Bobby, as you mentioned earlier, is left in the trunk of the car.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not going to speculate on this too much and just imagine what this feeling feels like, but imagining the duality of these two characters right here. One of them is absolutely aware of what's going on and is worried about his friend that's still in the car. The friend in the car is absolutely not aware of what's going on and is worrying about his friend that got taken away.
Mhm.
So there's already like this double-sided coin storytelling that's going on right now and
Mhm.
everything. Um, Bobby, over a series of what I believe to be hours in all probability,
Or yeah.
bangs his feet, his fists, his body, shoulder, whatever he can against this trunk until finally, like, he's on the verge of passing out. You see the sweat, his eyes are closing, a little bit of a flash of a beach,
Mhm.
the water against the hand or whatever. And you can tell that, like, narratively, that's going to represent something that's going to mean something here later on in the story.
Right.
um but he finally gets the trunk open, and it's one of those like old sedans that probably like didn't have the safety latch in the back and things like that, but it's also entirely metal.
Yeah, if
So
he was 14 instead of 11, he probably would have just like gotten one crack at it. And it was.
right, right, yeah.
By the way, did you know that there's like professional kidnappers legally now? There are people that are I there are people, well, they're called ICE agents, but if you're listening to this and you're an ICE agent, fuck you. But there are people out there that pay for people to abduct them so that they can like practice like getting out of trunks and shit, which is already a wild fucking thing to do. Like
It's
I
like an escape room from hell.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. Like, dude, if someone, and here's the other thing is they also have it where it's set up as a prank.
yeah,
And brother, if someone comes up and black bags me, I'm killing the person behind me. Like, I don't
yeah.
think there is an insurance plan in the world
No,
that is ready for my ass.
not nor a lawyer that's ready to help explain what happened. Like, that's, how do you even, like, from either side of that, how do you approach that?
Like, could you imagine getting charged with killing somebody that was kidnapping you? You know what I mean?
The family of the dead client claims that this was all just a prank.
And it's the shit you see on fucking social media too. You see people that are like, it's a prank, it's a prank, it's a prank. Okay, well, you're in public doing this shit to strangers.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how you get rocked,
yeah.
brother.
Right. A prank is the dude with the ice cream and you grab it and he like takes the ice cream into another cone. And that's not the real cone and that's not actually ice cream. We're going to do this. That's, you know what I mean? We're like,
That's fun.
nobody's like entering a state of fight or flight.
All right.
Where mortality becomes a currency.
Yeah. So Bobby escapes, and there's this really incredible scene where he gets out and he's looking down the dirt road. He's about to start running and he hears Kevin. So he knows, not in his heart, but in his mind and in his
And
fucking
his brain, too.
soul. Like he knows that Kevin is still alive. And he promised him that he wouldn't leave him. And as someone with abandonment issues,
right.
I was like, fuck me.
Those are four very magic words.
And he like looks at the road and looks back. He looks back at the road and looks back. And with fear in his heart and on his face, that boy goes back to that house. And I was just like, from the first time I watched this movie, I was like, I'm glued. I am absolutely fucking glued.
Yeah.
I will personally kill the writer and director if anything happens to this fucking child. Beck and Jay of the Girl and Gay podcast are bringing you film reviews transcending genre, from horror to rom-com and everything in between.
For in-depth BTS, factoids, and what makes the films good or bad, The Girl and the Gay got you covered.
Be sure to check them out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and as always, yourunpodcast.com. I found it like really interesting. Like, you know, obviously he's going back to the house because he is the baddest motherfucker that we've ever seen in a film. And the shot is like just coming from the interior and it's facing a window and you just see like a rock the size of this child's head just through the door, and he just like reaches his long arm in. Like he looks like a 7-year-old NBA player. Like,
My man, Victor Wembanyama when he was 7. Yeah.
And he just like reaches his alien ass arm around the inside to unlock the window and like sneaks in, and you start hearing like the television in the background, and the lighting is fucking wild in this because like it's very much like they just don't use the lights in this house at all, and it's probably like, I don't know, 5 p.m. during the summer or something like that. It's just fucking dark, and you're getting like the glow from the television and like the static and the sound in the background. And we see like a dude that's like clearly getting fucking hammered on the couch while he waits for, I guess, I don't know, other sex traffickers to show up.
Right. The funny point for me is that he didn't hear the fucking rock go through.
That was what I said. It like,
you know, those are things in movies that I get that the plot has to move forward somehow, like we talk about, you know, a lot on this. But that's one of those things that when you're world building, when you're, you know, crafting an environment where these characters need to interact, this sandbox, if you will, there has to be a level of like care to details like that, because it's just a little bit immersion breaking for me because my brain is wired the way that it is, unfortunately. And you know, in a movie that is so based on atmosphere and tension building, those are the things that pull me out.
Luckily that was at the beginning of this film.
And there's a couple of other instances, like there's like feet that are like running across hardwood that aren't making noise and things like that. And I know what Converse on hardwood sound like, you know, and just little details like that where I'm kind of like, wait a minute. But anyway, it doesn't matter because it's so fucking scary in here.
My man had ninja-like footsteps.
That's what it was. There's a joke in there somewhere. But yeah, it's everything that you imagine like a trafficker's like headquarters would look like, their base of operations. For it's bare minimum.
It's a slum in the country.
We're not entertaining anybody in here, you know. It's designed, if we have to get out of here in 20 minutes, we can take everything that we need and leave without, you know, worrying about what we left behind, kind of shit is the way it looks in here.
No, 100%. And to your point, you made a comment like in the middle of the movie, and this is like after a bunch of like this stuff has happened, you know, like with him sneaking around on the hardwood floors upstairs and downstairs, which I'm sure are rotted, which definitely make fucking noise. Or like when he, you know, goes into one of the rooms where he hears the screams from his friend, or Bobby hears Kevin's screams, and he like pushes an entire fucking bookcase out of the way just silently across all of us. And you made
a shit wasn't IKEA.
No, that was American made, baby. That was the heavy wood.
That was a 125-pound bookshelf.
And it's like, you made a comment during this, and he was like, everything that he does is just so silent. And it took me a second. I like looked back to the
Yeah.
rest of the movie, and the first thing I thought about was him breaking the fucking window.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because when he breaks that window, he is like maybe 20 feet away.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dude getting hammered on the fucking couch.
All that was between him and the dude getting hammered on the couch was like a small kitchen that I'm not even sure had a full refrigerator. Like it was like a butler's pantry. You know? But yeah, I think the exact like combination words I used that must have had felt on the bottom of those legs. Because
He's actually just moonwalking across.
yeah. But this orb, this one of those like I don't know, in Lord of the Rings they're palantirs and you can kind of like ooh, show me the secrets of the dark, you know, kind of
Yeah, I don't know what you call them from Goodwill.
Yeah, it's just like an orb. I don't know.
It's just a glass ball.
It's a glass ball. It's a sphere.
A
A
sphere.
sphere. My mom has one of those outside in her front yard.
I don't doubt that.
There's like a bird bath, but it's holding like one of those instead of like serving as a bird bath, it's just holding a blue ball.
I feel like when you're white and you own a home, they just like it already comes in the home.
Yeah.
Because I found one here
Yeah.
that I know. I don't buy shit. Like I don't buy decorative shit other than posters and comics and shit like that. But
and like the deluxe version comes with the initial of your last name,
Yeah.
and a sign that says "Live, Laugh, Love," and everything.
the amount of those that I've thrown away and I don't understand where they keep fucking coming
I know
from.
it's weird.
It's probably my mom.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, oh, you should be hanging this shit up in your house.
Mm.
I don't like shit like that.
I don't either.
Right.
I had a coworker that I was commenting on the fact that we had like a sign in our break room that said something to the effect of "Live, Laugh, Love." That's not what it was, but I was like, "Does anybody else think those are weird?" And she was like, "What? You don't have signs in your house?" I kind of looked at her. I was like, "Signs in my house? No, I don't. What is? Because that just like doesn't occur to me. Like I think about movie posters or
Something cool.
Van Gogh or something like that.
Violent porn on my wall.
Right. Don't get me started on how much I love erotic art. Like, not even for the sexual side of it.
It's like that scene in fucking V for Vendetta where they go into Stephen Fry's like private lounge and there's like the shot of just that dude violently eating ass.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's a conversation piece.
Let him yes. Ass.
Right. Are you gay? Yeah.
Yes. It's that room was full of violent porn and the Quran. And the Quran was in like a fucking glass case.
Like it was the only one there was. It was
it was like stealing the Declaration of Independence style, like bulletproof shit. So actually, just on that note, real quick, I definitely was hanging out one time, and I was like probably between 9 and 10 or something like that. And I was in an area where everybody hangs out with everybody on the street, even though everybody on the street fucking sucks. And we were at this super redneck house, and a lot of the houses where I was at were like there were a bunch of creeks that ran through because there's a bunch of water that flows through Virginia. And so you've got those really deep down a hill kind of homes, even if it's like on a semi-centralized county street. And like we go down this gravel driveway, we're hanging out in this guy's garage, and it was so weird to me as an 9 or 10-year-old kid or whatever I was at the time. We were in the garage and there was so much porn on the walls.
Yeah.
Like redneck chicks with no shirts on, holding naked deer. They're of course deer are naked. He's like in a sweater.
Because deer are famously in their Sunday best and other forms of art.
Just imagine you wear a cardigan when it's cold.
Yeah.
The deer's like smoking a pipe.
He like steps out of his house and closes the door, shivers. Oh dear.
Nailed it. Fucking nailed it.
No, and there is a difference between fucking like erotic art and it's just,
trashy.
I know. Jenny Presley with a cheeseburger and a Lamborghini, and it's like, or Jamie Presley, and it's just like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah, and it was so like we cut this out of a magazine and posted it up on the wall. And I mean, the walls were covered. There were like 4 beer signs and about 132 titties.
That poor lady at Staples that had to blow all these up to 2x3.
And in my head, like, even as a kid, I was, because, I understand respecting your partner because I'm not a fucking moron. And
Sure.
I remember thinking to myself, does his wife know? Like,
Yeah.
has she ever been in the garage? Because
Uh-uh.
they're just sitting out here taking shots of Jack and, like, you know, whatever those people do. I didn't really
There's
pay
like a
attention to it.
puddle girl that's his sister. It's like, I don't mean to disrespect your friend, but it's just
It
the vibe
wasn't
that
my
I'm
friend.
getting.
I definitely do not associate with those people anymore.
Yeah.
Um, especially because, like, looking back at it, it was like, oh, I know who you voted for.
100%. 100%. Just like we are told very plainly who the people in this movie voted for with a very nice little nod. And it's just funny. I love taking jabs like that creatively is what I'm trying to say. I think I just had a stroke. Um, this is the part of the movie that I was talking about at the beginning of this, where a lot of this is just creeping between rooms and trying to like piece together what's going on here, right? So
Mm.
the main point that I want to say, just to kind of establish where we're at right now, there is a dude in the house that is currently unaware that Bobby is in the house, but is very aware that where Kevin has been, like, for all we know, incapacitated, right? Aside from like the screams that we can hear when the guy goes in and checks on him and shit,
100%.
right? So this is a lot of Bobby. Like I said, that orb falls and that gets the guy's attention, and there's a lot of sneaking around and trying to figure it out. So if you just want to go over like highlights here,
Oh, yeah,
scenes
absolutely.
that stood out to you or moments that stood out, you may not necessarily be in chronological order for people who are listening, but just talking about like moments that we loved
Mhm.
during this kind of like beginning of the second act here.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, part of the journey about this, and we talked about this in the beginning, is just like watching the dedication that Bobby has,
Go
and
into the fire.
going absolutely into the fire, because at this point in time, it is very important to remember in this story that he could leave at any point in time. He still hasn't been discovered yet. They know something's going on in the house, but they're not sure what it is yet.
Mm-hmm. And they would likely be none the wiser because it's still just the one dude, and he's on his 19th shot of Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
And like something that I want to point out too when you're watching this film, is you are absolutely going to hear some things, because Bobby is, hearing things as well, like through these vents and stuff that sound fucking horrific.
yeah, disgusting nightmare shit.
Yeah, like almost like the reason that you wouldn't watch a Serbian film.
Sure. Yeah.
And you just got to hang in there.
Mhm.
I promise you
Yeah.
that that's not what happens
Mhm.
to these people. There's
Yeah.
a lot of allusions to stuff that has happened before. We're dealing with real world fucking monsters.
Which, to that point, I want to say what's so effective about the filmmaking and the construction of this story is it's giving you information and also allowing your imagination and your knowledge of things like this that go on and your awareness. We see a lot of it on the news and shit like that, certainly, to fill in the blanks. And that's really cool from a directorial standpoint, to have the confidence that the audience is going to resonate with this in their own emotional way and with their own experience and things like that too, which I think is really, really awesome.
No,
As scary as this is, that's just really great filmmaking, and that's worth commenting on, in my opinion.
absolutely. So again, like if you're watching this film on our recommendation and you're just like, what the actual fuck, like, just hang in there. I promise you, we wouldn't just be like,
we wouldn't be doing a review of this movie if it was fucking gross. It's
Yeah.
gross, but it's not like there's a difference.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's the difference between like I spit on your grave and even lambs have teeth.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I think, like, as far as highlights go for me, I really liked watching Bobby like navigate this house in a way where he is consistently trying, like he's finding keys all over the place.
Mhm.
And like any good video game player,
Mm.
he holds on to every single fucking pair of keys
Mhm.
that he finds because he knows it goes to something.
There's a lot
right?
some, and it's probably in this house, or the key wouldn't be in this house.
100%. Like, so watching him kind of collect through the house
Mhm.
and kind of loot and find what he needs. And then he finally does get discovered.
He does get discovered, and this guy is um just a total creep alert, man. I mean, he
Mhm.
just top to bottom, he looks exactly like you would expect somebody who does this for their living to look like. Um and what's interesting to me about this character is he's not, we at least we can assume that he has this in him, but he's not presented in a way that makes you believe that he's violent. He's presented in a way to that makes you believe that, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but he's not the big bad of this movie, and it has
Right.
nothing to do with what happens to him in the movie. It's just that he is a little bit more unassuming, he's a little bit more, I don't know, docile,
Mhm.
than what you're expecting a person who does
He
this.
feels like the grunt.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's almost like his job is to maintain order,
Mhm.
and it just don't let them kill themselves, and don't let them, like escape, and just try to keep everything calm and easy and shit like that before, whoever else shows up. And they have a confrontation in the kitchen, and there's a little bit of
A
like,
Truxican standoff.
there's a little bit of a comedic moment in this, because it starts with Bobby, kind of like, again, he's a trained professional when it comes to finding items that are lying on the ground. As you
It's like a highlight line around it.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so he grabs the pot of water, the coffee pot that we saw boiling, and that's again detail. It gives you a little bit of a clue that this is going to be something that you're going to pay attention to. And again, brilliant filmmaking, because the audience is going, you literally said, is that water still hot?
Right.
And that's just awesome, because that's the first thing he grabs, because he remembers it steaming however many minutes ago. There's the passage of time is kind of, there's a gray area there of how long it's been since he got in the house and then got discovered, but he throws it on the dude, and the guy kind of just goes, that wasn't very nice. Yeah. just But it's not like a sinister that wasn't very nice. He's just genuinely like sad.
Now I'm wet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah, it was one of those things where like he felt threatening because the person on the other side of that was a child.
yeah.
It
Because
felt
he's an adult. That's
it,
why he felt, yeah.
it felt like somebody that in a normal fight would have gotten stabbed 32 times. And this is like,
Adult chef's knife.
yeah, I was gonna say for a lot of people, this scene is like probably a sigh of relief and a lot of like,
Yeah.
oh, thank God. For me, I couldn't stop fucking laughing the first time that I saw this because you guys know this about me and Eric specifically. We love slapstick shit.
Mm.
So like Bobby grabs the knife because he just threw cold water or room temperature water
Yeah,
at
not boiling water. Yeah, yeah.
and the the guy is like, what are you gonna do with that? And the motherfucker comes around because they're circling around an island
Yeah.
in the kitchen. And that motherfucker, knowing that there is water on the ground, just fucking loses his feet from underneath of him, cracks his
Home Alone style slip and fall. It's not a stabilize yourself. It's I just fell down icy stairs going down my back deck.
he got an I just fell unconscious concussion.
This is off the island.
There's blood all over his face,
Yeah.
and he conks out for a minute. And of course, Bobby is like, master looter, is just like, all right, maybe he has the key to get Kevin out of here.
Mhm.
Great thinking, Bobby.
Mhm.
Great thinking. So he's holding the knife out like so.
Mhm. Yeah.
And he like gets on top of the dude and he like lunges up and stabs himself. And I was like,
He has that zombie, that vampire moment. Yeah. Yeah. And then like right into a knife right into the dust. Or
kill number one. Kill number fucking one. Animaniacs.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because like Bobby goes into like a strange place in fight or flight where you feel, morally obligated to fix this,
Mm.
right? And I can't remember if this happens before or after the second person arrives at the house, the second trafficker arrives at the house, but he begins with a rag trying to like
It's
soak up all
after.
the blood and like drag the body out and hide this somewhere and everything, which that's smart. I mean, don't that's not like a weird thing to do. It's just impossible to clean up that much blood,
Mm-hmm.
and make it as if nothing ever happened.
Because he was bleeding a lot.
Right.
Because from what, because the funny part was the blood was coming from the backside
Yeah.
of the body,
Yeah.
which means that he threw his body so hard into that knife that it went through him.
Yeah. And that, kids, is why we buy 14-inch chef's knives.
Yeah. It's why I was so pissed when I took some, like, this is what, guys, sharpen your own knives. Don't be fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Because like, as a chef, I took one to a grinder one time and they probably took an inch off of my fucking knife.
Yeah.
And I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was so fucking mad. I was like, how am I supposed to stab through a person with this?
Like your blade is just as replaceable as like lead in a mechanical pencil or something. It's just but I know, yeah. Snap like a razor.
Yeah.
How like you just like snap pieces of razors off when they're done. It's like
Cock his knife.
it's also a gun. I'm going to circle back a little bit because there is a moment there. The movie does another thing very effectively, and it gives you moments like you were talking about just a second ago where you can breathe a little bit. You feel like it's not all hopeless. And Bobby and Kevin do unite in the sense that they find like a vent through which they can communicate with each other. And Kevin's like, yeah, I can hear you. I'm okay. I'm okay. And Bobby's like, I'm going to find a way to get you out of here. Is that, he's like, it's locked. And, and they have that whole conversation. Right. But we get a clue from Kevin here that I think is important. There's a gate over the vent, and it's one of those old school kind of like wrought iron, things instead of something that you would just simply unscrew and remove. It's like on there, right? And he starts pulling on it, and he does so with such a force that one of his fingernails breaks, and it breaks like at the bed of the nail. And it's just anybody who's ever lost a nail or broken a nail that badly and lose it knows how long that shit hurts. If you do it on your toe, you're in pain every time you walk for the next 4 to 6 weeks and shit like that.
Eric was like, I rather would have been the dude who got stabbed.
Yeah. I was like, I would literally rather be stabbed to death than break a nail. Because I've lost a toenail dropping a metal shelf on my toe before, and that was
I remember that.
Yeah. And the clue here is that Kevin removes the nail on his own completely and continues trying to work through the room to see if there's anything that he can do for himself to gain an advantage, whether that's putting himself through pain or whatever. And as we like to say, mark that. Kevin is willing to go through pain to do what it takes. So
100.
Just want to note that because that's important later.
Yeah. So we haven't discovered because the person who enters the house, we think it's a dude at first, but it is. We would assume.
Yeah.
It is in fact the big bad of the movie. And we just get like these very quick glances of them walking by. There's no like real weirdness to it yet. And we actually have Bobby hiding under the bed with the kitchen knife. This person comes in, takes their boots off, and then goes and takes a shower. Now, Bobby has the kind of autism where he watches her put the code into the safe that's in the room that they're in, and then goes in and puts the same code in and opens it. And first of all, he finds a key, and it's like skeleton key looking key.
If he
like
was playing Legend of Zelda, it would have played the treasure music. Held it over his hand. You found the boss key. This key unlocks every door in the dungeon.
No, he found the boss key.
And a stack of what looked like a cool $200,000.
Yeah, easy, all cash, and a fucking manila envelope full of pictures of little white boys' chests.
Yeah.
I still don't believe that that was Kevin.
I don't believe
I,
that was Kevin either.
yeah, I think that was like a collection of shit. I think,
Because I think we get that confirmed later.
yeah, I think we had Kevin is getting prepped
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Um, so
Oh, I hate that word in that context.
uh,
I know we got to say what we got to say, but like this is one of those movies where
that's what the trigger warnings
uh,
were.
this is one of those movies that you're 100% right when you say you are going to feel uncomfortable during this, but just hang in there. It's only 80 something minutes long too. They don't make you suffer for 3 hours through this shit or anything.
100%. And this is one of those movies that by the end of it, you're like,
Yeah.
like
That lambs have teeth kind of feeling, you know? Yeah.
um, with none of the sodomy this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank Christ.
the movie goes the other way. Eric's sitting here like, John, what the fuck?
I know.
Like, what are we doing? I want to go home. uh, so we've actually found all of the keys now that are required. And he opens the first door that opens up. He sneaks out now. He opens the first door where we thought Kevin was, and it actually leads to a staircase
that's lit by a very red light, which is because my first thought, because we had just seen like photographs and stuff, I was like, this is going to be like a photo room, and it's going to be pressed upon us that there are like hundreds and hundreds of kids that have had to that have come through and left this house, you know, and things like that, you know. It's just a staircase. Fortunately, it's not.
It is just a red staircase.
That sinister, but it is a really, like I said, a really moody red light that gives you the indicator that like it's kind of that abandon all hope ye who enter here. This is the final threshold you have to cross. But if you go all the way, you're committing to it, you know?
Yeah, because the next room is still not Kevin, and I think this was supposed to be the room that like this was like the epitome of showing and not telling in storytelling, because like you walk into this room and your heart sinks into your asshole, like because he walks through that door and it is very clearly a child's room set up with a camera set up in the room, and you're just like, if you've ever watched an episode of SVU, if you've ever just read crime,
the news, yeah,
you knew exactly what this room was. And like the first time I saw this dude, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this movie. Like, I genuinely don't know if I'm going to make it through this fucking movie.
There's a big like chest, like a foot locker on the floor against the wall, and it's just filled with all kinds of different kids' clothes, different sizes, and different. It makes it clear that it's like different ages too, which is very dark in and of itself too. That because it's kind of like reinforcing the fact that it's indiscriminate.
Yeah.
You know,
even though they still bring up discrimination like a little bit here in a few scenes, but like he winds up like finding the room, and we find Kevin, and like there's just like this sigh of relief on everybody. Kevin is still clothed, and there's like this beautiful moment where all Kevin says was, did they? And he said no.
Yeah, Bobby says.
Or sorry, Bobby says. Yeah, Bobby asked Kevin, did they? And he's just said no.
No,
not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
And I was just like, oh.
And if that wasn't enough, we get the tenderest friend hug where and
ears
like this is the part where I'm not sure I'm going to get through this next sentence, but there he goes, Kevin tells Bobby, you came back for me, you didn't leave me. And there's a difference between you came back for me and you didn't leave me because of what that implies.
100. I've got chills.
I know
right now. And like it was like one of the that's part of the reason I love this movie so much, is like it was one of the most rewarding things and most rewarding scenes in cinema that from what I've seen in my life.
Even this eerie score with slightly detuned pianos and squeals and like long bowstrings and shit like that. You hear the key shift to a major just for a second. And it's It's
then,
gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful scene.
yeah, and then they realize that they have to somehow get out of this house.
Hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Has the phone call already happened,
I think at this
or
point,
or does it happen after the?
where he calls for help,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that happens simultaneously with it. This is kind of all the same scene.
Are you right? Okay.
Yeah, because he, how do we get out? Kevin's like, so how do we get out of here?
So Kevin has a shot collar on
Right.
that looks exactly like the shotgun trap from Saw
Yeah,
3.
and I thought it was a bomb collar. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was like a self-destruct mechanism if you get too far away from your perimeter or something.
Beat starts to go off for the perimeter, and Eric was like,
Oh my God. um. So
just to take it away from you.
Yeah.
Quit playing with my emotions, Smokey.
I'm not positive on the series of events, but it's like lock around his foot, he's shackled. We hit it a couple times with like an axe or a hammer or something, and like it doesn't work. But it's like, oh yeah, I've got the key. We're gonna unlock you. We're gonna take you out of the room as quietly as we can. The beeping starts happening. We realize that it's a shot collar. Kevin can't go down the stairs. He can't leave the top floor. So we got to go back into the room, sit down, be quiet for a minute because we hear footsteps, we hear commotion and moving downstairs. And he's like, so what do we do? Well, I saw one of those old school like rotary phones.
Oh, right.
It's like in that chest with all the, clothing and everything in it. Did you see a plug? I didn't see a plug. Where there's got to be one around here somewhere. So Bobby has to leave Kevin alone again
Mhm.
and go search for a like a dial-up connect or whatever. I forgot what those are called. Just like an Ethernet connection or whatever. It's that old,
Yeah, it's a corded phone.
a corded phone,
Yeah.
like a landline connection, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Dials 911, and it's the person on the other line is such a horror movie first responder, what's the word, not first responder, but the person,
operator.
the operator on the other line, the person, dispatch is what I'm looking
Oh,
for.
yeah.
The dispatch person is so like horror movie coded because she's very like, okay, so where are you? And you're hearing like footsteps and stuff, and it's I don't know, I'm in a house and there's grass and
There's an oil rig.
there's oil rig. Okay, can you stay on the line as long as you possibly can because we're gonna have to track your location. It's like
Well, and that's
she's like
actually
nails and her girls on the line, and she's trying to she's
with her 16-inch long nails.
yeah.
Yeah, the issue that I ran into with that is she didn't say,
Just leave the phone off the hook so we can track it and you can go hide.
right. I would have like we were like, dude, I will just be silent as the fucking grave,
Yeah.
but you just need to leave this off the hook so that we can find exactly where you are. Because if they had done that when the cops showed up, they would know.
Yeah. Yeah, that this person has done this thing.
Right.
They chase it to a radius, and that's kind of what I meant when I said like horror movie coded, because that's the only way that we're gonna get these next couple of scenes. If they can only trace it to a radius, I don't know. It's also kind of funny because it's I say funny in a kind of like dark humor sort of way.
Yeah,
because
totally.
when you're like going through something that's traumatic, your brain responds on instinct, and so there's part of me that believes that the 12-year-old kid would have instinctively hung up the phone to run away just because
wasn't
'cause
told
you do shit like
otherwise.
that. You do shit like
Yeah.
that. And I guess like we can kind of talk about like does the woman, I can't remember, I wish we had been able to finish this when we had actually watched the movie, but does the woman actually find Bobby in the bathroom at this point and start breaking down the door with the axe, or does the cop come up first?
She does find him first
Okay, I thought so.
because she stops to go downstairs.
Yeah.
And I think when she leaves that room, she locks the door behind her in the bedroom. That way he can't get out.
And like
either.
turns the TV up really loud so the cop can't hear the screaming echoing through the house and
Right.
and all that.
Which notably, apparently, that was Frankenstein. That was on the television from 1932. Nice. Public domain's crazy.
Yeah. Creating monsters.
Because brother, if I were the cop that showed up, I would think it would be weird that you were watching the 1932 Frankenstein
on a reasonable volume
on an analog television.
Yeah.
In 2021, the year of our Lord. Like
Frankenstein has never aired on PBS. Rabbit Ears don't get AMC. It's one of those. Yeah.
The thing I do want to say though is like the scene where she's like trying to get into the bathroom
Mhm.
with the axe is very The Shining.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it is
The
like
angle, the camera angle, the angle that
mhm,
Bobby's leaning against the frame of the door, screaming, the axe coming through. The fact that she kind of looks through the hole and
mhm,
everything, and yeah, and it's cool. Okay, so that's the moment that you realize it's a woman because you see like the mascara and the everything
mhm.
and the kind of like almond shaped
The
eyes and
horror.
everything. Right. Right. Madame Medusa's pawn shop boutique. Um, that's a deep cut. Anyway, yeah. So that scene's cool because it's just like we I love it when directors tell us who they love by what they do in their own movies.
Hmm.
When we can, those kind of like Easter eggs and shit like that's just fun for me as somebody who loves movies.
Well, and speaking of Easter eggs, I guess there were like three really compacted into the
Yeah.
this one scene because when the cop car pulls up, the first thing you see is a bumper sticker on the back of her car that's actually parked out there, not the one that Bobby
Mhm.
broke out of earlier
Yeah.
in the shed, but the one that's parked in front of the house just said "Make America Great Again,"
Yep.
and I was like, "Damn, release the Epstein files."
100%. 100%. And it's perfect because it brings you back into reality a little bit, like your own lived reality in real time and real life and everything, and all these things that you assume to be true about people who are part of this cult. And it's like, yeah, we're going to lean into that from a storytelling standpoint. We're
And
going to
that's not just the movies,
yep.
baby. Because I'm not saying all all of MAGA is pedophiles.
Sure.
I do think that if you identify as MAGA, you support pedophiles.
And I do think you're part of a cult. I
You,
do think
you're 100% part of
I
a
do
cult.
think you have either been brainwashed or willingly like accepted the blood of this cult or whatever.
Right.
Like you were either you thought about that or you didn't when you signed it. So yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but
For all of our like conservative listeners, we definitely know that there's a difference between like Republicans and MAGA.
that line needs to get a little bit wider, guys.
Step up your game.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Because what I am saying is everyone that is in ICE is MAGA. And I am also, which by the way, if you're listening to this in your ICE, which I doubt, but if you
I
are,
think you already told him to fuck off
yeah,
once.
yeah, fuck you. Um, I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you. And also, again, though they may not all be pedophiles,
Mm.
the amount of people coming out that are getting charged from ICE for soliciting sex from minors
Yeah.
is astonishing.
There is unfortunately a correlation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like I gotta tell you, like, oh, I like him for his economic policies, which by the way are bullshit. Isn't really a fucking argument. Like, that's like me being like, I just really like Epstein's paintings.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a fucking
Yeah.
reel the other day that was so good. It was somebody had a giant poster of Epstein on their wall, and they were like, "Dude, what the fuck?" He was like, "What? It's Anthony Bourdain." He like explained it to him, and he was like, "Oh, that's why the guy at Kinko's was looking at me so weird."
I'm trying really hard not to do my Anthony Bourdain impression and not concoct this whole like how he always does his anyway.
Comes down to being a downright burger slut.
Either way, it's been quite an experience.
Uh, um, I was gonna do my Anthony Bourdain impression, but I don't want to die.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Anyways, back to the film.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fucking censor so many words in this shit
I know.
just for the
Just
YouTube
for
version.
YouTube, I know. Yeah.
My man said pedophile 9 times.
Yeah. You can't say sex trafficking.
We have to say essaying, which
Yeah.
like that sounds so like why does that make it sound like it's jovial and cool? You know what I mean?
I've
Like,
always felt that way. My favorite one of all time is like Unalived.
oh yeah,
And because it's like I used to really be into the idea of like saying like not saying words that trigger people.
sure.
Right. And like, oh, that's a trigger word for you. My fault. I'll adjust that. I'll say something else instead. But it's gotten to a point where we're doing this just to avoid being like flagged by social media and shit.
Right.
And it's not even for the reason that it is. It's just, and so the shift in vocabulary around stuff like this is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was gonna use the word stupid, but um, the cop pulls up and she comes downstairs and after locking Bobby in the room, she is still none the wiser that all of these keys are missing
Yeah.
and that Kevin is actually free,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not in the attic anymore.
He's
Or
unchained.
he is no longer the boy behind the door.
Mhm.
He is the boy through the door.
He's the man behind the curtain.
So Bobby is like screaming his heart out.
Yeah.
And the they're blaring the TV in the living room and the woman goes or is asked, "Hey, can I see some," like after explaining the situation of why he's out there, being like, "Oh, well, can you give me just a form of ID and I can get out of here?" Which she went back upstairs afterwards to try and handle Bobby
Mm.
because, and I think that they never say this, but what I infer from that is because she knew that her ID was not going to match the house that they were at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she was, because Bobby finally does break out and come downstairs at the same time, and this would never happen in America, where a white woman says, "I will be right back," to a police officer.
Mhm.
And the officer walks into the house anyways.
Yeah. I love it because he was just so annoyed by the TV
So he had to go
That-
turn
that he-
Frankenstein off.
that he broke protocol. Yeah.
Which, by the way, could have gotten the entire case thrown out.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is
No
the
matter how guilty they were, unfortunately. Yeah.
but he walks in and he starts to hear like, that sounds a little weird. He comes around the corner and he sees Bobby standing on the staircase.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Help." And he's like so relieved that the cop is here.
Very stupidly.
Very stupidly. The cop walks through the entryway because there's a room
Yeah.
in between where he is standing
there's, like,
and where the staircase is.
yeah.
Yeah. And of course, like he walks through and just gets an axe to the stomach from this
Mhm.
bitch. For
Kill
kill number 2. Kill number fucking 2. I don't know, pork belly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And of course he hits the ground and we just get
Unfortunately, still a cop.
a
But this scene infuriates you.
Oh, 100%. Because, and I say this as someone who still absolutely loves Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby is one of the best characters, and I still stand by the fact that Kevin is almost equivocally badass.
Mhm. You still took a half court shot with 11 seconds left in the game.
So the way that the room is set up, and Bobby is standing on the staircase, he can see into the room, which means he sees the wall that she is standing next to with the fucking axe.
Yeah.
Say something. Like the amount of shit that this boy has been able to navigate
I know.
is trivialized by the fact that he's just not like, just point,
Yeah.
do something. Because if you had just pointed,
Do not come
and-
into the room. She's standing on the other side of the door with an axe.
she got an axe. A what? And like,
Yeah, because I like to imagine she kind of hit him with that Joker, like very poor choice of words. You know?
so we get this like chase into the like back upstairs, and then he
Back into the bathroom.
back
Yeah.
into the bathroom. And I'm trying to remember how he gets out from there.
Yeah. So what happens is, if I'm not mistaken, this is where she kind of has a fuck it moment. I'm just going to break down the store. I'm going to stop asking nicely.
Oh, it's because he wasn't in the bathroom.
He wasn't in the bathroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
He ran into the
Yeah.
room,
Yeah.
but not into the
That's
bathroom.
Right. That's right. And then he comes back once she's in there, and I think he put like the piping through her arm or shirt or something like that, and she couldn't get off. What was that?
Oh, so that was when they made it back downstairs.
Okay.
Because
she's at, yeah.
As first of all, she had to go get a gun for an 8-year-old. Which he escapes. She winds up, yeah, she's skill issue indeed.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, throughout all of this, Kevin is doing a great job hiding,
just holding it together. All things considered.
Old Kevin McAllister.
I know. Yeah.
And so he gets chased through the house, and she is saying some shit that it just makes your fucking skin crawl.
Oh, no, like vomit, literally. Yeah.
Because she made it like super racial for a minute, because she was like, well, the guys that I sell to don't usually like ones of your color, but they really like ones that put up a fight. And I'm just like,
yeah.
It didn't get better. So it's like she is like psychologically torturing this child while running him through the fucking house.
Break his spirit kind of thing.
Yeah. So he finally gets to the basement, or like the cellar or whatever, through the outside. And was it a shovel he fucking hit her with?
It was absolutely a shovel.
Yeah, because he skull cracked that bitch. And then she reached, skull cracked her, went upstairs, got a fucking pair of handcuffs, comes back downstairs, chains that bitch to the or the fucking piping in the house or whatever. Goes in, steals her keys, and of course he has this thing where he hasn't double tapped anybody yet, because he doesn't want to kill anybody.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, like, as he gets the keys out, she's like, oh, well, pulls out a 9, starts firing rounds at fucking Kevin, or at Bobby while he's trying to escape. And like, I think she had the accuracy of like a stormtrooper, and tagged him. I will say, last one, he gets out the door, gets tagged like right in the calf, and you're just like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah. And it's bad because it is almost enough to like just he's done. He's exhausted. He's emotionally drained. He's like starting to like not lose his humanity, but again, like when you're in a traumatic situation like that, like your willpower is everything. Like your survival is everything. And once that starts depleting, like once your morale goes down, like it's almost impossible to come out of that.
I'm tired, boss.
Right. 100%. Bear Grylls taught me that.
100%. So he winds up going upstairs, and finally Kevin has been freed from the fucking the head exploding device. It's a shot collar, but
because Kevin has to this is what I was alluding to earlier. Bobby ends up laying against a barn on the other side of the property, not the other side, but just like next to the house, far away and Kevin, witnessing this, calls out to him through the window of the room, and has his hero moment where he just endures the shot collar as he passes by the perimeter thing, goes all the way downstairs, all the way outside until he can like clip his shit off. Right.
Well, because I think he gets on like that little shed landing that's on the exterior of the house. I think is actually how he gets down there. If I'm not mistaken. Which is a pretty straight shot, but like it's but
no, you're right. Yeah. And at this point, I think Bobby had that scuffle where the woman was like sticking her finger in the gunshot wound. And he like clipped her thumb off with the hedge clipper things, the shears.
I think that's a little later.
Is that later?
I think that's post car.
Those are the things that they used to get the collar off Bobby too, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a couple days since we saw the movie, so we're a little iffy on the details. If you haven't noticed, we've all changed clothes. We're doing this a second.
I haven't.
That's why you're on that side of the table.
I kid. I just have a lot of black hoodies.
Yeah. You should see his closet. It's just like it's all the same outfit over and over again. Album's coming soon, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing It Was All a Dream.
Remix with the Doug theme song.
um, but yeah, so we after Kevin's very much badassery, right? We're like, okay, now we just have to make it to the cop car.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a scene that pissed you off a lot because we get in and we get they lock the doors. Kevin is the one that's got like more chutzpah right now from not being shot.
Yeah.
So he's got we've got Bobby in the back and Kevin gets on the APB.
Yeah, yeah. And he calls out, "Is anybody on the other side?" Which any self-respecting cop in any country in the world would immediately take as, this is unusual and this kid sounds afraid. This is a 12-year-old, not an adult man making this call out. Can anybody on the other side hear me? And he says something like, officer, will you state your name or something like that? And he's like, I'm Kevin O'Connor. I've been kidnapped. I'm here with my friend. I'm in a car. They've killed the cop that the car belongs to. And the cop responds with, okay, so call 911 and go through dispatch. And I'm so fucking sorry, but there's no version of reality where that's acceptable to say.
Man hit him with not my department. Shit.
I know. And that's, you were talking about the MAGA bumper sticker and everything. That's great commentary on the state of the perception of the competency of the police in this country right now.
100%.
The bureaucracy of it. He's penetrating the bureaucracy by getting on this radio. And Kevin, like, very smartly doesn't just stop talking and like, okay, we'll have to figure something else out. He's like, no, I don't know where I am. My friend's been shot. They killed the cop that's in this car, and there's a woman chasing me with an axe and a gun, and I'm 99% sure she's a sex offender. And the cop's like, okay, that's 5 reasons for me to come out. I'm gonna put my fucking
top men on it.
Right. I'm gonna put my 6-pack of Dunkin' down and like go like, oh, I guess I have to do my job. We'll be there. You know, can you describe where you are? He said there's an oil rig, man. I don't know. He's like, oil rig, cool. Okay, we'll track you to the signal from the car, whatever the fuck, right? You know, and it's just like, okay, thank you. Good job protecting and serving. And suddenly the bitch returns. and
the look on their faces of sheer terror, dude.
Because it's sad, but it's also kind of like in a Stranger Things kind of way when they all scream at the same time, where it's kind of, you remember Eddie's scream when Chrissy starts like rising? That's, it kind of is like reminiscent of that. And he like,
here for offensive sex.
She starts like trying to break the window of the cop car with the axe, and it obviously it doesn't break, you know. And she like kind of like goes like fucks off for a second, like runs back up to the house, and they lock all the doors. And Kevin is just trying to keep Bobby like
alive,
conscious right now, yeah. And then she comes back down, and she like kind of like peers up over the window like that, like the fucking Siamese cats and Lady and the Tramp, you know. It's like just like you could just see the evil.
Her ears start curling over
and shit. And she like raises up the car keys and jingles them, and they both scream again as she unlocks the door and drags them, hits Kevin in the head with the business end of that axe, like the butt end of the axe,
yeah.
like knocks him like 6 feet back into this car while ripping Bobby out and continuing to like, you know, torment him. Bobby is very much alive. I mean, he's not like flirting with death or anything at this point, but he's spent. He's completely exhausted. And as she raises the gun to point it at Bobby,
this is also the point, by the way, where she's like torturing this kid. Yeah. Like this is where she's like digging her thumb into his fucking bullet wound and shit, dude.
Yeah, and just like laughing while she's doing it. I mean, she's enjoying this. And
Oh, she voted for Trump.
yeah, Kevin has his second hero moment, I would say, because the first is when he kind of reciprocates the action of like, I'm not leaving you. We're live or die. We're doing this together to Bobby and everything. But he has a taser from the car and takes it to the woman and like repeatedly like
Just keep
it's
going
not a
at
taser, it's a stun gun, but is like repeatedly like and
Tell me
and
how to feel.
I'm over here like, you know, it's like
Oh, Bobby.
it's an amplified version of the feeling when somebody hits your star running back and kind of taunts, and then later in the game the running back runs him the fuck over and scores a TD. It's just like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. And it was so cool because I love seeing that we were talking about like what final girl energy is, right? And at the beginning of this, I was talking about it begins with being the one that's willing to run towards fear and being willing to confront what you've been through and use that as fuel to enact your fucking rage and your vengeance on the person that is putting you through hell, or the thing that's putting you through hell, is another massive aspect of what that means to be a final girl. In this case, to be a survivor. Right.
100%.
And it was so awesome to see that much fight in Kevin.
Because I think that's what made another aspect that made this movie so fucking incredible was it didn't feel like it was all on Bobby's back. Like it was, I'll share the load with you.
Yeah,
like
100%.
It was like, because the thing too is like, though they both went through this trauma together, and I'm not equating one's trauma to be more or less than the other.
Yeah.
And the difference between the two is Kevin was really in a situation where he was aware of how bad it could be and how like the darkest side of humanity could be. And at no point was it never crossed his mind, and it came through to be true in so many of these situations towards the end of the film, where he was never going to leave Bobby behind.
Sure. 100%.
You came back for me, brother. Like we're in this, and like
we are officially sold out. Yeah. If they ever print a magic card about us, it's Kevin and Bobby on the same card. Those are not two separate legendary creatures. That is one.
They are the legend.
And it says like comma unified behind it or something like that.
Unity.
I'm gonna go with one red, one green with menace.
Now the the one issue that I did take in this scene was because it felt like the stagehand did this instead of Kevin. But like after like just absolutely going to town with that taser on her, he puts it down next to her when they run.
Bobby on the stairs moment.
Your source of power, brother. Like, what are you doing? That's like putting down the alien shield when he's got a gun. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And I was making fun of the scene because I was like, I mean, like go in the cop car and get like the revolver get the sidearm out of the glove compartment. Make sure you load it and throw that next to the stun gun too. Like why stop there? If you're going to completely disarm yourself, let's go all in. Let's see how much you want to survive this at this point. Right? And we get kind of like another classic horror sequence where we're now running through the woods, and it is dark. It's been dark for
running.
Oh yeah. It's been dark for 27 hours. There's like, I was trying to like pin down where they were exactly, like based on the trees and stuff, just like etymology is not the right word, but what I was looking at in the woods and everything, and I couldn't. My guess is like the southern part of the Midwest, like
North
Texas kind of vibes or something. I don't know. But that's really cool because that's another big final girl thing about like you make the escape and you don't look back, you just go. Like, and no matter how bad it hurts, no matter what the cost is, You got to go.
Hmm.
And I know it's, anyway. I also kind of like there's some like Grimm's fairy tales thing about being like chased through the woods by a witch kind of, vibes and things like that, using the female as a,
Five.
yeah, using like the vibes of the storytelling and everything, like the female is the big bad and everything, and it feels not like Hansel and Gretel, but I'm just like connecting dots as I'm
Sure.
going on this monologue here. But I really loved this sequence because they sort of have that like Frodo and Sam moment where they're at the top of Mount Doom and they haven't completed it yet, and they're both just done. They fall against, or I guess they have a scuffle first because she ends up catching up to them,
Hmm.
and they both are falling, like laying back their backs and shoulders against this like fallen tree and everything, and they have kind of like a slow mo looking at each other. I'm out of gas. I'm out of ideas.
Taser really would have helped
Taser would have helped.
because she was close.
Having a live cop here really would have helped. So as the axe comes up for the final swing, you hear a big gunshot, big resounding gunshot.
Well, the crazy part was I don't think she actually had the whole axe, right? Because it was like she fucking took the first swing and she couldn't get it out of the tree. So she just
Yeah.
broke it like a sociopath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were about to get fucking staked, which is insane. Insane in a film like
Yeah.
this. And I think what sunk for all of our hearts in that scene for like half a second, which I think like when you get to this part of the movie, I don't think that you would clock her actually killing them.
Yeah.
Like I think that you do feel like we wouldn't have gone through all of this
Sure.
just for this to happen.
Sure. And there you're welcome to edit this out if you want to, but like I made a connection in this sequence just now that I'm not going to say on here because it's so dark. I just don't want it to be in this episode, but I want to talk to you about it later and see if you think that this was on purpose or not.
Sure.
So
Anyway,
picking back up.
yeah. Anyways, they're both about to get staked, and of course, like I guess it takes two cops to get the job done because like, and I will say like my heart really sunk in this scene because it was very clear that she was going to kill Bobby first, just like the way that it was lined up. Because it's probably just subconscious in her head. I mean, she's going to kill both of them,
Sure.
but like it's subconscious in her head that he's black, and it's also after all of that shit, Kevin was going to have to watch the person who saved him, the person who didn't leave him, and the person who probably loved him more than anyone else in this world other than his mama.
Yeah.
Get staked and like bleed out in front of him. And I think he was ready to actually be the first one to go.
Yeah.
And
it was really nice because, like, to remark on your point about his mom, I love that we never meet their parents.
Yeah.
Because that only leaves their connection as the only thing that's tethering them to the world.
Mhm.
Right. And that's great storytelling. Again, very effective. Yeah.
100%. And then we hear bang, bang, bang. And I liked that she just dropped to the ground. It wasn't some slow motion, ethereal bullshit. It was just,
is she alive? Is she not? She's gone.
Thank you, God.
For kill number 3.
For kill number fucking 3. I'm not even going to dignify her with a joke. That maggot. Did I say that?
Did I say that?
And, the cop rescues them.
Oh.
And I couldn't help but think to myself, because, throughout the last 5 hours or so, Bobby's been shot in the fucking leg.
Yeah.
And it's still Kevin who's helping him to the cop car out of the woods and like acting like a crutch for him.
And the cop's like swinging his arms and clapping his hands. Shit like hell.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I did that. I did that shit.
Did y'all see that?
Right. That was crazy.
No, and then like makes fucking Kevin open the car door.
No, it's unlocked. It's unlocked. You're good. You're good. Which again is just, I don't know how intentional that was, but it was funny because it's like there's a part of me that still wants to believe that if a cop found a shot child in the woods that was being human trafficked, like,
yeah, you carry that
would
kid.
carry him very gently and very like protectively to a car to make sure nothing else happens. Because for all the cop knows, there may be 12 other people in the woods that are waiting for an opportunity to strike. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
right.
give me a break, dude. Anyway, And so, like I said, I don't know how on purpose that was, but yeah.
And then we cut to like the scene of Kevin and Bobby, just like the callback to the beach.
Mhm. And I love this sequence because there's so much symbolism in this. It's emblematic of the isolation of people who go through trauma from the rest of society. There's a big, like, Cliffs of Dover style,
Mm-hmm.
cascading of rock behind them, and there's nobody on this beach. It's completely isolated, except that there's both of them there,
Mm-hmm.
and it means that they're each other's happy place. Sorry, you might have to pick up, but it's like trauma bonding is so awful that people have to experience it, but it's so beautiful when you can go through it, even just relate to somebody on something that's this hate again that people have to go through it. But when somebody experiences something that's this horrific, you're so thankful that you're not alone on that beach,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I don't know how much you want to talk about the scene. I'm going to kick it over to you, but this is the perfect ending to this movie. They just silently are looking out the ocean and being together.
Yeah, I don't think I could have summed it up any better. I do think that, this was a gorgeous scene. The way that they did the like pre-dawn
Mm,
coloration and shots, like, because I think it shows that I think if they were adults, you would see it, and I see it this way, but I think it would have translated to more people probably as adults.
yeah,
If it's that idea of they got there at that time, because it's like, could you sleep? No.
yeah,
Could you sleep? No.
100%.
And they knew where the other one would be. And I
Mhm.
just like having that kind of connection is, again, the trauma bonding is horrible, but god damn if it's not a gorgeous
Mhm.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
The light is shining bright
I know.
over me while I'm talking.
This is ethereal right now.
Yeah.
You look like a fucking angel right now, bro. You look like you're about to take me to see my dad right now, bro. I gotta tell you.
Simba.
Cue the music.
um,
Yeah, dude. This movie is so powerful. It's so effective. The storytelling is brilliant. Again, like I said, I love when directors are willing to let the audience put the pieces together themselves and show and not tell.
mhm.
Um, I love the friendship aspect of it because you don't see that to this depth. I mean, you see friendship in horror movies and like Dual Survivors and Not Care
Or,
for You, kind of those themes, but you don't see it to this level of depth.
mhm.
And not nearly often enough, because the reason that I love this movie is not because I would ever go out of my way to like watch this movie for entertainment purposes, but to feel the feelings that this movie puts you through of love, you
Yeah,
know.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What was the overall on that?
Like as a score or
No,
like
oh, not even as a score. Well, guys, that was the boy behind the door, and
yeah.
if you need a better endorsement, I can't imagine getting one.
Yeah.
But just more of like a final thoughts thing
Yeah,
on this film.
I mean, this is a movie that I am going to very cautiously recommend to you guys because again, this is so sensitive. If you knew or know or are hyper aware of sex trafficking or things like that, if you dwell on that as a fear of yours or something like that, my stomach sank, and I don't even have children at the beginning of this movie when Kevin disappeared, and I was just like, that's my worst nightmare.
Hmm.
Like as somebody who isn't even a parent, so I can't imagine what parents go through. I can't imagine what brothers and sisters of kids that get taken go through, or people of any age. I mean, I'm not even limiting this to children. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
extra horrifying when it's a minor. Um, so it's a cautious recommendation, but if there's any part of you that believes you can get through 80 minutes of it, I'm telling you the tears that are going to be like rolling down your face, and they're not even warm fuzzies. I mean, it feels like it's not an, oh, that was cute. It's like a deep resounding feeling of emotional release and peace that you feel at the end of this movie.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what I would say.
yeah. I don't watch a lot of films that make me feel shit.
Yeah.
Not like I avoid them, but like it just doesn't really happen
Mhm.
very often. And I wouldn't say that I'm like numb to a lot of things, but I will say like the power of friendship isn't like typically something that like gets to me.
Yeah.
Um, and it's definitely like a culmination in this film between storytelling, the performances, the ethos that they've created, and the fact that it's so grounded in reality is genuinely, I think, for most people, very terrifying.
Because real horror is ultimately a lot scarier than fictional horror is. Yeah.
100%. And I think one of the things that I'm most impressed with this film is the fact that it is so the approach is approached so much with grace.
Mm.
And it though you feel these feelings of like, like I said, your heart sinking into your asshole, like, and that's going to happen a handful of times in this film. The rewards that you get in this film are kind of unparalleled
Mhm.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it's sorry, keep going.
no,
Say more.
go.
I I I want to commend the director and the direct because it's co-directed and co-written. If I'm not, I want to compare
Yeah.
everybody who had anything to do with the creation of this story for making the decision to not have anything happen to Kevin.
Hmm.
Aside from what being kidnapped and being put through
The
that
other
experience,
horrible shit.
the other side of the
Yeah.
line that I'm not even going to say out loud because
Right.
I like don't even want to say those words.
Yeah.
Um, that was very, very like the word you used was sensitive, and I think that that's exactly right. So I appreciate that
Hmm.
very much.
And I do think that, along with the storytelling, this is something that is so relevant and has been so relevant for so long.
Yeah.
And I would hope that people would watch this movie with an open mind because like if you see something like that and you see like, the MAGA sticker on the back of the car and you take that personally,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you should start taking a look at why that was the case.
Yeah.
Because obviously the ability to write a story like this, the ability to pull a film like this together, they are obviously very, very, very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to listen to people that are more intelligent than I am.
Yeah.
So I would take the messages in this movie for what you can. And yeah, it's on Shutter.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend this film enough. I was so excited to show it to Eric because
Which I appreciate very much.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it is one of those films that like affects you in like a really positive way.
Mm.
And it's one of those things where it is an absolute emotional roller coaster. But I have never seen a story in my life where I really felt the friendship
Mm.
like really conquer everything. I'm like becoming ethereal again talking
Yeah.
about this,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I really think that like, and this is like comparing shit to even like my childhood with like Fox and the Hound and shit like
100%.
that,
100%.
and we have like two boys that by the end of it you really felt like could take on anything. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I don't get that kind of sentimental about films, I'll be
No.
honest with you.
And I think the reason why we don't have movies like that, not that movies like that don't exist for you to, what am I trying to say? Let me reframe this. I think I think I think we don't experience that enough in films because directors and writers, not that they're not intelligent enough or capable enough to do it, but just aren't willing to take it that far, you know,
Mhm.
aren't willing to Jesus.
I'm gonna sit like this the rest of the time.
I feel like I'm watching you become Thor right now or something. I don't know.
They
Um,
call me Ragnarok.
yeah,
Sorry, I had to break the tension from all these beautiful moments we were
yeah,
having.
I know. Um, and I think if people told stories like this as effectively as this story is told, it would do a lot of people a lot of good, especially in aspects of things like trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wouldn't watch this movie for therapy. That's not really what I'm implying, but it just
Mm-hmm.
from telling the story sensitively and also being very real about it too is very important. You know.
100%. Um, But yeah, guys, can't recommend this enough.
Also, can't recommend Shutter enough. If you don't have Shutter and you're listening to us, dude, cancel your fucking Netflix and go get Shutter.
It's like $6 a
You'll
month,
save a
dude.
lot of money, and you'll have access to a lot of movies that are worth watching that you probably haven't seen.
And the classic lineups on there are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't recommend Shutter enough. In fact, Shutter, you should sponsor us, but that's
That'd
a
be
whole other
sick.
thing. But with that
Can't
being
make that deal.
with that being said, that was The Boy Behind the Door. Again, Shutter original, absolutely incredible. Make sure you guys check that out. Thank you guys for listening once again. Eric, thank you for being here, as always. And thank you guys for joining us once again. Where it creaks, it cracks, and we laugh at the creatures that go bump in the night. Good night, everybody.